According to reports, Benjamin Sesko to Arsenal could be off, and Oshimen is now the new target. Bruno Fernandes is linked to the move to Bayern Munich and Barcelona. And is Ivan Toney really worth £60 million with only 1 year left on his contract? Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video if you haven't already. If we get 400 likes this video, that'd be absolutely insane. Make sure you have subscribed to the channel. We are approaching 8,000 subscribers. We're less than 530 away, which is absolutely insane considering we only launched this channel in March, which is 3 months ago. Well, let's start with the news regarding Benjamin Sesko. Now, according to some journalists, the agent of Benjamin Sesko has offered him out to numerous clubs, including Chelsea, Juventus, and maybe even Bayern Munich. Now, this isn't anything new that we've seen. We've seen agents of football clubs try and, push their player out to as many clubs to try and get the biggest agent fees, try and get the biggest transfer fees. It's a little bit different with Benjamin Sesko because he does have a release clause. Now, Arsenal have been linked to him for, I want to say, about 3 to 4 weeks now. Chelsea were actually linked with Sesko first. The release clause, obviously, it doesn't necessarily matter which club pays the release clause. I think it will come down to Benjamin Sesko's personal preference. Now, a lot of the big ITK Arsenal Twitter accounts last night was saying that Ivan Toney potentially could happen, but it's very, very, very unlikely. And that Victor Oshimen is now the latest name to be linked with Arsenal. Now, Arsenal, we all know they need a killer. They need a number 9 who can put the ball in the back of the net. Benjamin Sesko and Ivan Toney, as well as Victor Oshimen, are all very, very different players. Oshimen, I would say, is a killer. He's quite easily a 20, 25 goal a season striker. And Ivan Toney is as well to a degree. But with regards to Ivan Toney, he's being linked to the likes of Chelsea and Spurs. At the moment, Tottenham look to be the favourites to sign him. However, at that £60 million price tag, I don't know if we are going to go and get him. Victor Oshimen apparently has a 120 or 130 million euro release clause, which is £100 million, which is an awful lot of money to pay up front. That's obviously one of the most important things of these deals. When a release clause is in a player's contract, the bulk of the transfer fee has to be paid up front. So Arsenal's striking situation has to be sorted if they want to get Benjamin Sesko before June 14th. So it's a juggling act for Mikel Arteta and Edu at the moment in terms of who is the perfect number 9 for Arsenal. Now, Benjamin Sesko obviously plays at Leipzig. He's not a $20 a season striker at the moment, but one thing that's worth pointing out is he's definitely the youngest of the lot that are linked. He is only 20 years of age. 21 now, I believe. I think he's only just turned 21. 14 goals, 2 assists. One thing that I did note as well, he's only played, I think, 1,500 minutes this season for Leipzig in terms of his league this season, which when you divide that by 31, I think that works out. Let's do the math now. 1527 divided by 31. He's averaging 49 minutes a game. So that's what? Out of the 31 games, that's probably 16 full games, 17 full games he's probably played, if my maths is right. And he's got 14 goals and 2 assists. Victor Oshimen, obviously was instrumental in Napoli's title-winning season a few years ago, a couple of years back now, where him and Cravadonna were practically like the Kane and Son to Napoli, actually lifting a trophy. And Oshimen got around 20 goals, which was absolutely insane. But are they the right profile for Arsenal? Well, I think Arsenal's striker situation all depends down to if Gabriel Jesus does go or does stay, because as of right now, you've got Eddie Nketiah, you've got Kai Havertz, you've got Gabriel Jesus, Trossard has played in the 9, and Martinelli's played in the line. If they are going to bring in a Ivan Toney, I do think the likes of Victor Osimhen or the likes of Benjamin Sesko, if they are to come in, a Gabriel Jesus and an Eddie Nketiah has to go out the door. You know, when Arsenal brought in the likes of Declan Rice, you know, it was obvious that Granit Xhaka was going to make way. Right now, you know, I don't know how long Gabriel Jesus has got left on his contract. I'm probably going to say a couple of years at least. Um, he's been at Arsenal now a couple of years. You know, 27 years of age, worth according to Transfer Market 65 million euros. He signed for Arsenal in 2022. He's got 3 years left on his contract. In terms of his goals for Arsenal, he's got 19 goals and 15 assists in 69 games, which isn't a bad return by any stretch of the imagination. He's got 15 goals and 11 assists to 26 goal contributions in 53 games for Arsenal. You know, so that's what, one goal contribution every 2 games roughly. But is he good enough? Probably not. Eddie Nketiah is another one they could sell and put 100% of that sale against FFP. If it's going to be Victor Oshimen, 120 million euros, I would rather, if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd rather go and sign an Alexander Isak for the same sort of money, who is Premier League proven and a few years younger. Now, Ivan Toney is heavily linked to a move to Tottenham. According to reliable journalists from the Tottenham world, the likes of Paul O'Keefe have come out and said that Brentford are looking at 60 to 70 million pounds for Ivan Toney. For me, is just that's too steep. You know, 40 million pound with 1 year left on his contract is a little bit steep, but I guess you could say, do you know what? He's Premier League proven. He's got 20 goals in one season in the Brentford side. His hold up play is brilliant. He is essentially going to be the real deal in whatever team he joins after this. But 60 to 70 million pounds with 1 year left on his contract for me is way too much. Like, that is absolutely extortionate price for 1 year left on his contract. And I do think if that was the case, Brentford are going to price him out of a move. He'll play one more season at Brentford and essentially leave on a free transfer. Now, is he worth more to Brentford than the 60, 70 million pound price tag? Plus, you've got the likes of Buemo being linked to a move away. Weiss is being linked to a move away. Rico Henry. And let's not forget, Brentford only finished, 6 or 7 points above the relegation zone last season. So if they sanction a lot of these sales, what does that mean going forward for the likes of Brentford? But if Tottenham want to be serious, we need a killer just as much as Arsenal do. And you've got one in Ivan Toney, 20 goal a season striker, as well as Dominic Solanke is being linked to the move to Spurs. Another player that is being linked to the move away, and I think this is absolutely madness if they sell him for a fee, unless it's the Bruno Fernandes divides a lot of opinion. He is a goal scoring and assist merchant. He's played 233 games for Manchester United, registering 159 goal contributions. 149 goal contributions in 238 games. In the Champions League for Man United, he's got 16 goal contributions in 19 games. In the Europa League, he's got 18 goal contributions in 25. In the Premier League, he's got 94 goal contributions in 159. He is 29 years of age. He was instrumental in that FA Cup win. The pass he played into Kobe Mainoo, the weight of pass was absolutely glorious. Now, I believe it's Al Hilal or Al Nasir, Saudi Arabian teams are prepared to pay 120 million pounds for Bruno Fernandes. Now, if you're a Man United fan, I personally believe you have to cash in with that. If that sort of fee comes in for him, you have to cash in. The problem is, does the player want to go to Saudi Arabia? He's 29 years of age. Maybe 3 or 4 years down the line, he potentially could join Saudi Arabia. But also the timelines of Manchester United in terms of their rebuild is not necessarily going to match up with Bruno Fernandes' timelines in terms of he's prepared to wait to see who the next manager is going to be. Jim Ratcliffe, the new owner or part owner of Manchester United, I should say, wants to play a possession-based style of play. He wants to bring in, a manager that can play attractive football. In terms of the number 10s in the world, there isn't many better number 10s than Bruno Fernandes in terms of output. His goals and assists speak for themselves. He's an absolute machine when it comes to output. So then you look at okay, which teams could he potentially join? Bayern Munich and Barcelona are both heavily linked. Now, Vincent Company, I do think Serge Gnabry or Leroy Sané could potentially leave Bayern Munich, sorry, this window, which would essentially mean could Jamal Musiala play it out wide, meaning the number 10 role becomes available at Bayern Munich, which could mean Bayern Munich could potentially come in for Bruno Fernandes. You know, they've got a very, very experienced squad, Bayern Munich, with Harry Kane and Thomas Muller, Kim Min-jae, Kimmich, Neuer. Their squad is very, very, very experienced. And then they're probably going to sell the likes of Davis to Real Madrid and get a whopping fee for him. Could they put that money on Bruno Fernandes? Then I look at Barcelona. I think he only joins Barcelona if a Frankie de Jong is sold. You've also got the likes of Bernardo Silva that heavily links to a move to Barcelona. Bernardo Silva is linked to a move to Barcelona. So could they potentially bring in a Bernardo Silva and a Bruno Fernandes in the same window? I do think that is a little bit unlikely. But as it stands, I think Bruno Fernandes should wait one more year and kind of see what the new manager is going to be like. He only has 2 years left on his contract. He's played various roles in Man United. Number 10, central midfield, second striker, out wide. And as it stands, they value him at 70 million euros. I think if a bid of 70 million pounds comes into Man United, I think he's more important for Man United going forward than the price tag kind of essentially means. 70 million pounds for me is not enough for Bruno Fernandes. He's more important to Man United than 70 million pounds. And next season, Anthony Martial's, he's going to be leaving. They're looking at bringing in a new striker to go alongside Rasmus Højlund. You got Jadon Sancho's futures up in arms. Michael Olise has been heavily linked to the move to Man United, and as it stands, they are in the driver's seat and they are favourites to bring him to Old Trafford. I think that move makes more sense than signing Chelsea, who have just about to appoint another manager in Enzo Maresca, who's a little bit unproven, and they've already got various players who are playing outside on the right-hand side where Olise plays. You've got the likes of Cole Palmer, and if he's going to play in the number 10 role, you've got the likes of Christopher Nkunku. This is why I think it makes more sense for him to join Manchester United. Anthony as well apparently could be up for sale. So it's going to be a very interesting number of weeks. Sesko to Arsenal apparently is off, but other reporters are saying it's advanced. So I look at it right now. I don't know. Various reporters saying it's off. Ben Jacobs has just come out saying the deal is still advanced. So it all depends on the player now for me. I think Arsenal could quite easily hit that release clause, but I think it's more beneficial for Arsenal to sign Sesko than a Victor Oshimen. Let me know your thoughts down below if you haven't already. Make sure you have subscribed to the channel. I will see you all in the next one. Thank you all for watching. I am